Thank you, Ambassador of the Netherlands, esteemed judges, and everyone present. We want to share that the cost of war is the human cost. Beyond lost lives, there are needs such as electricity, water, viable shelter that need to be met. Tracking this is difficult. Our project communicates the humanitarian situation in a visual way. Our Ukrainian friends tell us we're afraid and stressed. So what are the options for getting humanitarian needs met in this region? The Ukraine can't do it for military reasons. Russia can't do it for legal reasons. NGOs are overwhelmed by the structural problems and they lack a coordination. What we're finding is that people are organizing themselves. The original social network is individuals, and our project empowers people in both sides of the border to help themselves.
So I guess essentially our project localizes skills people possess and marries them to needs that others have. This is a strong precedent in this model in the handling of around the issues of aid around Hurricane Sandy. And so our project draws on and strengthens a community and shares a compelling narrative of commitment to the Minsk Accord. So we propose to leverage a crowdsourced map to support Ukrainians to continue to actively and collectively self-organize to address this crisis on a grassroots basis, being actors rather than victims in the reconstruction. From local citizenry and civil society to service providers and social media companies. The wide range and appeal of this project suggests that it indeed affects and is affected by numerous kinds of actors, irrespective of their geographic locale or whether or not they are quote-unquote Ukrainian. So our project, SustainUkraine, promises to disrupt conflict by disputing the binary of good and bad. It transforms our ideas of embattled regions to acknowledge that in areas of conflict, there are always many human stories, both of basic human needs, such as water, electricity, and food, as well as unwavering human strength.
So what do we know about the context on the ground? Our evidence comes from the World Food Programme, the UN, and other aid organizations. Since the beginning of the conflict, 5 million people are in need of humanitarian assistance. 1.3 need food, and 1.2 have been displaced. According to StatsCounter, just this year, Facebook remains the dominant platform in the Ukraine with 45% of users. And we also have Veki, Contact, using 27% of the market. This means that Contact in particular is being used for a variety of fragmented purposes. People seeking social support, to reporting on recent attacks, to seeking tangible help. What this suggests is that organization of mutual aid can be improved and be made more efficient to the benefit of everyday Ukrainians.
So what is the solution? Our solution is a map that visualizes the human element. It bridges local divides in the population by making support networks legible and thus accessible. And the beneficiaries are the immediate user groups, right, the Ukrainians in need. So we utilize standard web-based technologies. The front end will be a multi-page responsive UI, allowing users to enter their data in a variety of modes, including text, image, and geolocation. The back end will consist of a standard web app server with secure login and password database. Users can access the device or the service via either a website or an app, and we'll be targeting all major operating systems, including iOS, Android, BlackBerry, most browser platforms. And so like any social network, this app will need basic IT support to maintain the services to respond to incidents such as denial of service attacks and outages. We will also require an administrative component to handle complaints and abuses in order to arbitrate them. So it innovates in that it helps reconceptualize the region, empowering again actors, both individuals and organizations, to help each other and themselves.
We have a long list of stakeholders, including organizations, but the main beneficiary are the people of the Ukraine, specifically people in the Donbass area and the volunteer networks providing them with humanitarian help. We have consulted with a Ukrainian expert and Stop Fake founder, Eugene Fedchenko, on conditions in the Donbass region. We hear that they suffer from a lack of efficiencies and coordination. We therefore believe that the assistance of a digital platform will make all the difference. This will land with respect to the social context and activate a long existing tradition of mutual aid, drawing on examples of digital mutual aid for disaster relief. Cell phone use in the Donbass region is widespread. and the role of volunteer efforts is already well established.
So what are the risks, right? So we're taking an existing infrastructure, right? We think this is an actual real solution. This isn't a game. This isn't some kind of abstract concept. This is taking existing infrastructure and trying to sort of utilize it. So besides the fundamental challenges inherent in conflict areas, such as lack of adequate resources and infrastructure, we identified 3 main problems that pose a risk to the success of the project. So the first thing is how to guarantee the anonymity of end users. Technologies used by existing networks can be tapped into to ensure a measure of security and protection. Users can be rated to develop trust in networks. The second problem, the idea comes from, again, this sort of Hurricane Sandy, where a similar self-help model emerged as a highly successful one in a crisis situation. While the situation in Ukraine is contextually different, of course, informal self-help networks already exist in Ukraine that can be built upon. Local sources confirm a receptive attitude amongst the population. And third, although cell phone use is commonplace, such services are subject to interruption and jamming. And a constant mapping of the damages is crucial. In addition, we will need to develop a deep dialogue with the volunteer networks, such as Donbass SOS, as a means of implementing this platform.
I'll drive straight to a takeaway message and the reason why this brilliant multidisciplinary team gets very excited. Sustain Ukraine is an action-oriented project that builds capacity for mutual aid. It extends, prolongs, and improves the lives of people beyond a state of war and into reconstruction. It is a constructively disruptive project that draws on human strengths. We all like that. We believe it defines what it means to hack conflict. Thank you very much.